Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Life After Layoff, where we are coming together step by step, day by day to reclaim our lives one day at a time, right? So, many of you that are watching and listening may have been impacted by a recent layoff. And this is what this specific work is designed for. This is who it's designed for. And it's just my way of keeping myself grounded, keeping myself connected with those who may be going through this and just don't know what to do next, or just maybe just needs just to hear from someone who gets it, who understands it. That would be me. So I'm Tangela Hamilton. And you may hear me refer to my nickname Tangy or Tan or whatever the hell's blue, all those things. It's just me, right? And just to give a formal introduction to those who don't know, I was recently released through a layoff, a massive layoff with SiriusXM Pandora just last week, March 6th. Yeah, March 6th. And in that layoff, there were 475 people that were affected, 8% of the workforce. That's massive. That's huge. And there were a lot of people who had spent many years with this company, who had given many years of hard work and dedication, and are in a position now where they're waking up each morning, and we're waking up each morning wondering, what do I do now? So this is a labor of love for me. This is what I do, right? And as we go through this process and as we go through this journey, you'll learn more about me. I'll get into some personal and professional situations that I've learned. But for this episode, or that I've gone through, but for this episode, I just want to kind of lay out the groundwork and leave you with some things to work towards, right? So right off the rip, there are going to be 4 segments. There are 4 segments to this show. And the first segment, I always kick off with tangible tangiisms. Play on words, play on my name. Had to do it. Or you might hear me just call it T square. Yeah, I'm a nerd. And with tangiisms, I'm cold. I got to turn on this heater because I'm about to freeze. Sorry for any background noise, but I'm freezing. So, with tangible tangiisms, I want to always kick these types of sessions off with words of encouragement, mindfulness, words to just set the moment off, right? Because I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not religious, even though I grew up Pentecostal. I've had a change spiritually and had a metamorphosis of my own in that capacity. So I have a different line of thinking, though I hold on to a lot of the things that I learned growing up in traditional religion. I've expanded my spiritual walk that guides me each and every day. So understanding the importance of being in the right mindset and being mindful of your mindset, it's critical. Why? Because everything starts here. You can't do anything, you can't get any shit going in your life until you get your mind right. So I'm always going to prime an episode with tangible tangiisms, T square. I'm going to always start it off with that. The next segment is going to be chess moves. And chess moves is exactly that. We know in playing chess, which I don't play, but I do know that it's a very strategic game. And it calls for you to have to really be strategic in your movements and move in purpose and move purposefully. So that next segment is going to be chess moves, all right? And the goal of chess moves is to talk about successful strategies that could work best for you. It's always you in mind. You always have to start with you. You're no good to anybody else unless you are good, that you are centered, that you are together. All right. Third segment, get the bag. Yes, get the bag. We're talking job opportunities. We're talking cost savings, anything that will positively impact you financially and in your search to maybe your next job, or if you are like me and a serial entrepreneur, how to embark into those things, and how to move and how to operate into those things. So that is what Get the Bag will be about. Probably going to be my favorite segment. And then I will top that off with downloads from the cosmos. And that's where I close out with where I'll probably either have some type of quote, or most likely pulling from my stash of Oracle support, Oracle cards, that sort of thing, to see what overarching message that could come as a download from the cosmos that you can think about through the week. And I'll just speak to whatever energy and whatever I hear and whatever I feel that that message is giving to me to convey to you. All right, so now that we've got the groundwork out the way, let's recap. So last week was the day of the week that we just had to really get into our minds that, hey, we're no longer employed. We are no longer gainfully employed by said organization. And my advice to everyone last week was to just get balanced by saying, I'm okay, and believing that you're okay. If you had a chance to look at the post that I put out just before posting this message to you, there's a song by Lindsay Webster called I'm Okay. And I was driving one day, forget where I was coming from, but I was driving, and that song came on, and I began to listen to the words of the song, and I literally just in my spirit, I just began to cry, a wailing cry, just a wailing cry of release, a wailing cry of gratitude, which is healthy for anyone, male or female. I know a lot of men are taught that it's not okay to cry. It's absolutely okay to cry, and you should. You should, because one thing about when the water flows, that's a break. That's breakthrough. Whenever the tears flow, that is breakthrough. And your tears are always honored by the universe, by spirit. So I posted that song. I hope that you had a chance to listen to that. If you haven't, I encourage you to do. I listen to it every morning, and I have my moment every morning. And the one statement that she says that really resonates with me throughout the song is, at the end of every day, I'm okay. At the end of every day, I'm okay. That just does it for me. Every time I get chills, just like I got chills right now. So listen to that. So last week, it was me laying upon each and every one of you to start saying that and getting that into your spirit. So now we're going to move into T square, tangible tangiisms. We're going to move into that now. And with that, my message to you is get your mind right. That is the tangible tangiism today. Get your mind right. Everything starts with the mind. Your body cannot function unless your mind is right, unless your brain is functioning properly. It's impossible. My boomstick here. It's impossible. So it's critical that you get your mind set, that you stabilize yourself. It controls everything. Mindfulness matters. It does. You are able to create your day, create your moment, create your future by what goes on right up here. So the tangible tangiism for today is get your mind right. I don't give a shit what else is going on in your life and any external things. You have to get your mindset together to get your mind in a positive state of being where you can move efficiently, effectively, and with purpose. It has to start there. You want to get grounded. This is still part of the T square. You want to get grounded. And what that means is that to get a sure footing, get into a place where you feel like that you're sturdy and whatever that means for you. One suggestion that I would say right off the rip is anything that is not serving your greater good, that is not contributing positively to your efforts, to your mindset, to your spiritual well-being, to your emotional well-being, it's got to go. It's got to go. You have got to become stable in your being. You've got to get stabilized, and you need to minimize interference. And what I mean by that is things that you know that will distract you from becoming stabilized, that will distract you from being in a mindfulness state of being. You've got to find a way to minimize those interferences. That may mean telling someone or someone close to you or whatever, look, between 2 and 4, I need this time. I need this time for myself. I'm asking you to give me this time. Because if I'm a better me, it's going to make for a better situation. It's going to make for a better communication. It's going to make for a better sense of being for everybody and engagement with me if I can make sure that I have the time that I need to be okay. All right. So I have notes. Pardon the sound of the notes. And another part of getting your mind right is getting on a schedule. Get yourself on a schedule. We were used to doing that. We knew that on Sunday we have to prepare for the week ahead. And then come Monday, we know that we're working all day. We get done working, we take care of the family with meals, whatever we have to do the workout, blah, blah, blah. Or if you do the workout in the morning, get on a schedule. Don't let these weeks go by where you have not set a schedule out for yourself. And what does a schedule look like? It could be where you set time aside for meditation, for prayer, if that's what you want to call it, just to be in a state of mindfulness, as I mentioned before. You want to make sure that you set a certain time for that. That's that uninterrupted time that you need so that you can get grounded, stabilized, and that you can move with purpose. The next thing, you want to make sure that you set aside time for family, for people who are close to you, whether they live with you or whatever the case. Set aside time for that. You know that they may have needs that you may have to, participate in or be a part of or give. So make sure that you set time for that on a schedule. And then, of course, you need to set time for being in the lab, for building. I call it being in the lab. That is the time that you'll set apart for the work that you'll do to begin your new business or to embark on entrepreneurship or to begin your job search process and doing your interviews and that sort of thing. Don't have your week scattered. Don't have your day scattered. Get into a schedule of doing things. So those are, I mixed that up. So those were your T squares. And then I kind of moved into chess moves saying that. So your chess moves were to strategize and stabilize yourself, and to get yourself on a schedule and to control your environment. Make sure that your environment is conducive to building, to wellness. These things are chess moves. Being stabilized, controlling and preparing your environment, and getting yourself on a schedule. All right. So another chess move that's super duper important that I feel is to assess your situation. So now that you've had a moment of mindfulness, now that you've had a moment to create your schedule, to get stabilized, to make your environment peaceful and productive, it's now time for you to assess your situation. Now, again, most of us have been laid off. We need to, at this point, now that we've gone through the whole week of last week of being in our feelings about it, time to snap out of that shit. Now it's time to assess the situation and start making the best of the situation and minimizing opportunities for negative impact. And what does that look like? First of all, you need to look at the immediate impact of this layoff. What was the immediate impact of this layoff, other than how it made us feel? We've already handled that by the chess moves and by the T-square I just gave you. These are things that you want to write down. These are things, when you're assessing your situation, you need to write these things down, because these are things that you should make sure that you clear. And immediately, right off the bat, right off the rip, you've got to make sure that you're able to survive, that your survival needs are intact. Your food, clothing, shelter, transportation, communication devices and methods, mechanisms, your family. These are things that you want to make sure that are on point, that you've got a plan for. How are we looking on food? Now that I have a lack of income or a decrease in income, what does that food grocery bill look like now? Do I need to learn how to cook at home, prepare meals at home? Is the vehicle okay? Is there anything that the vehicle needs at this point? Because that's going to be your mode of transportation to get from A to B for yourself, for your family, for the job, whatever. Making sure that you've got your mode of transportation secured. Does that mean that you buy a month, what is it, the commuter card? Get that together. Modes of communication. Your cell phone, is that up to par? The bill, everything. Do you have the best plan that you could have? Is the plan that you have more than what you need? You might need to streamline that a little bit, but make sure that that line of communication is open so that opportunities can reach you. Your internet service, make sure that that's on point. You'll need it. You got a job search. Everything happens to the internet. And if you're lucky, and if you desire it, you can find a way to work remotely. I'll share some information about that, I'm sure. Immediate impact, medical. Most of us maybe have insurance to the end of the month. Then it goes into COBRA, right? Where it's a heck of a lot more expensive in some cases. Maybe your employer is providing some support with that. But now is the time, while you are still on your policy, your medical insurance, your dental, vision, get those appointments in ASAP. Any medicines that you need that you can get now, talk to your doctor about, hey, can you give me a 6-month supply so you can purchase these things now, instead of waiting till the insurance is off and done and over with, or that you're in a situation where you don't have the same level of benefit and reduced costs. Go ahead and get that out of the way if you can. So that's what I mean by assessing your situation right now as a chess move. Look at what is going to be immediately impacted by this job loss and start acting on those things. I hope that you're writing these things down, because you want to make yourself a checklist of these things. That is what I have for assessing your situation. I don't want to go too far. I really want to stretch this thing out. I feel like that for this week, I know for me, that's the things that I'm telling you are the things that I plan to do this week. And I'll do this podcast once a week as of now, unless I see demand where it requires or calls for more. I am dedicating Monday afternoon to pour into this podcast. So back to what I was saying, assess the immediate situation right now. Things that you have to, that you know that if you don't have a dime to your name would immediately impact you and your family and significant others and your home in a negative way. Those are the things that needs to have focus right now while you have the resources, the time, the coverage to do so. Now we'll switch to the next segment, which is get the bag. Yay. And in this segment, like I explained earlier, this will be where I share job opportunities, cost savings ideas, blah, 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 that stuff. Today, the only thing that I'm going to share with you is stopping the bleeding. And what I mean by that is we all have bills. We all have things that require us to pay to keep us alive, to keep us functioning. Mortgages, car payments, credit cards, all of that. And you have an opportunity right now in the state that you're in unemployment, to slow and even stop the bleeding. My goal for you this month would not be necessarily the job search. I mean, you can if you have the capacity to do so. But again, we're talking about immediate impact here and what to do to soften the blow of the job loss. You can call, and you should call, any creditor, any utility company that you have to pay, your mortgage company, any lenders, any financial institutions, car note, all of that. Call them and let them know that you've been downsized, that you are no longer employed. Oftentimes, they will have some type of program or plan to share with you to either slow or stop the bleeding process, where you may not be required to pay the full amount or even at all of what is required on that commitment, right? So in my segment here, it's brief and it's simple, but it's important and impactful. Stop the bleeding, get into bill management, and contact everyone that you owe, that you need to send money to each and every month, and let them know, hey, I don't have a job anymore. Our financial situation in this home has now decreased, and I'm calling you to see if there are any plans or any programs that are available to me to support me at this time until I'm able to get back into gainful employment. That is what I'm sharing with you for Get the Bag this week. Okay. And so now that I've gone through those segments, it's the last segment that I'll leave you with, because I don't want to keep you too long. Most of us don't have that kind of attention span anyway. And a lot of these platforms are moving to short form content. And I got stuff to do. And so I'm just going to take a moment and go into cosmic downloads to see, if there's anything that we should hear from the universe to help us with our week. And then I'll let you off about your day. And so the cards that I have in my hand are the Soul's Journey lesson cards by James Van Praagh. I hope that's how you say his name. And let's just see what the universe would like to share with us today that we can focus on through the week as we go through these rebuilding steps of our lives. And so as I shuffled in the card that comes out, that's appropriate. Service. I feel good when I can help others. I don't know if you can see that well, but I'm going to try to turn it where you can. Service. I feel good when I can help others. And so it's appropriate. I literally got chills going down my legs for that message to come out, because that's me. I'm such a nurturer, sometimes to a fault. And I always try to move in service to others. And I encourage you in some way to do that, whether that means going through your closet, giving some things to Goodwill or give to a shelter, preparing a meal for somebody, or just picking up the phone and just checking on someone. That's still service. Be in service to someone today, this week. And that'll help you feel a whole lot better. And it also gives you a nice little check mark in the universe, because what you put out, you get back. There will always be sowing and reaping. What you sow, you reap. So be in service, do something well for someone. I will end it right now. I hope that you all have an awesome day. And just remember the things that I share with you. Feel free to review this again, take notes. And if you would, please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Later, Gators.